listen, no fund investor has ever taken a loss. That's a super powerful statement, right? Like that's just facts. So Jared,
no investor has ever made less than 8%.
But
not only have they never taken a loss, they've never gotten a return under 8. Hey, what's up, everyone? Kevin Amolsch, Pine Financial Group, where we work together so you succeed. Hey, you found us here on Facebook. Maybe it's on YouTube. Please help us build a channel so we could help more real estate investors just like you. You could do that by hitting subscribe, hitting like, and leave me some comments below. We're going to be talking today about a recent conference that we went to. So I invited our friends Brandon and Jared on to talk about their experience at the AAPL conference. So AAPL is American Association of Private Lenders. It's the Super Bowl in our industry. So anyone who's anyone, I guess, guys, is at this event. And so we recently got back from it, and I want to share what our takeaways are from the industry Super Bowl. So Brandon, I'm going to start with you. Tell us quickly who you are for the people that maybe not know, and then we'll let Jared introduce himself, and then let's get into it.
Awesome. Sounds great. So I am Brandon McKnight. I am the Chief Strategy Officer here at Pine Financial Group. So excited to be on with everybody and provide a couple updates.
I'm Jared Seidenberg. I'm the COO and General Counsel here at Pine. Super excited to be here to talk about this stuff.
Nice. So since Brandon is so excited to talk about his takeaways, we're going to start with you, Jared.
All right. I love it. I love how you do these things, Kevin. Oh my gosh. Going to an event like this, we do it every year. We do it a couple of times a year, really. We have 3 really big industry conferences. Like you said, AAPL is the Super Bowl. Every time I go, I am impressed with the quality of people in our industry. I think that there is so much opportunity in our business. We always learn something amazing. Sometimes it's something that we're doing right. Sometimes it's something that we should change. But just being around such a collegial, cooperative group of people that like to collaborate is just so darn inspiring. Sky's the limit in this business. So super cool to be around those rooms.
Yeah, I think my biggest takeaway is going to be similar to yours, but let's hear it, Brandon. What's your primary takeaway? And then let's dig into some details here, but what's the big takeaway here?
Yeah. So I thought there was I would say the number one thing that I walked away with was really the theme of the conference was get your back of house in order. Right? Make sure your processes are well documented. Make sure you have a plan to handle any kind of fluctuations in the market. And so it was really a lot about, hey, how are you doing things and how can you improve? And you should be spending a lot of time and effort on making sure that everything is really dialed in. One of the things that everybody kept saying was survive until 25. I think the 3 of us looked at it and said, I think you can thrive in 24. So I'm not a big
exactly
5, but the idea is that we've spent a lot of time this year at Pine really focusing on processes, making sure that we can scale, making sure that things are repeatable. And so it was just really refreshing to me to hear that being kind of like, hey, you guys really need to make sure you're doing things the right way, because that's how you're going to really excel, going forward. So it's felt a little gratifying, or I guess vindicating or whatever for what we've been doing. But just really all the things back of house, whether it be accounting, whether it be workflow, whether it be processes or procedures, whatever it was, that was the big takeaway for me.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. When I go to a conference like this, I come away so inspired and motivated because there's a lot of people, quite candidly, that are where we want to be, right? And so it's like you get to meet. It's humbling. So I'll share a story with you guys, and I think you both know this, but I think it was the very first AAPL conference I've ever had, and it was terrible. I think I was the biggest lender in that room. I'm like, I should be the one on the stage here. And so I was so turned off by the quality of that event. I didn't go back for a decade. And then it was a friend of Jared and mine, Seth, that says, dude, it's changed. It's quality now. So we went back and it has changed a lot. So it's humbling to go into that room. It's inspiring to go into that room. And I'm going to just piggyback on what you said, Brandon. I agree. Back of house, there's people that are where we want to be and better than us, but there's a lot of people that are struggling. And when we look at that and we're like, I can't believe that there are investors investing with companies like this that really don't know what they're doing and maybe shouldn't even be in the business at all. And it makes me proud to know how hard we work for our investors, to keep their capital safe. Look, capital preservation is our number one. So we've been doing the meetings, Jared, you've instigated this, but the what do you call these monthly underwriting meetings and constantly tightening and changing and trying to be safer. And we're doing a lot of what they're recommending in the Apple before we even went to the conference. So I piggyback on that 100%. What do you think about that, Jared? What I just said?
Yeah, I think you're right. And I don't, we don't do a lot of patting on the back around here. We're focused on where we're headed. We don't have a lot of time to come with accolades for each other, but it is nice to sit there and say, yeah, we're doing some of this stuff. And you always pick up a couple of things, like I said earlier, but I think that, you built a foundation here that has really become somewhat of an industry standard. And I don't know that you realized that as you were building it, but I can't tell you how many people have come up to me, being somewhat new last few years, we're helping you run this place, and they just hold us up in such high regard. And like I said, it's so humbling. It's good to hear. We got a lot of things that we can do differently, be better. You can always be better and learn, but gosh, we are so lucky to have the foundation we do. And I think that's what I notice a lot is, we're thinking about these things. We're trying to be forward thinking as much as we can, and we're hitting those big points. So it's pretty cool. And
you're leading the charge on that, man. You're doing all the underwriting, and you're the one making sure that we're putting good loans in the portfolio. And we're learning that we are, right. We make mistakes, of course, here and there, but by and large, our underwriting guidelines are much tighter than the industry standard.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, for a risk-based business, we manage risk. That's what we do. And so, we will actually underwrite loans. And to some people in that room, that's not necessarily the normal thing. I talked to someone that was like, "Oh, you're like looking at stuff crazy and verifying things," and I'm looking at them saying, "You don't look at anything or verify." It's just so scary to me. And so,
let me have your business card so I could buy your portfolio when it all starts to fall apart.
That's right. Or let me send you some borrowers that really need some help that don't otherwise qualify.
That's right.
It's always good that way. And as we're talking about this, one thing I'll just add to the conversation here is, the one thing I really picked up on this year was that there is an attitude change in our business. Last year when we went, it was a lot of doom and gloom, a lot of trepidation, a lot of, we don't know what's coming. Everybody was huddling together saying, how are we going to get through this? And what do we got to do? And now it feels like, look, we don't know the future, but I think a lot of us have just kind of come to terms with the high interest rate environment and kind of what's going on out there in the economy. And, we're being careful, but there was a definite change in people's attitude, which was great for me to be around, because I've felt that, and I don't want to be cavalier in those thoughts, and to be around other people that are like, no, I think this is going to be pretty stable and move forward this way. We know how to navigate it. Was very gratifying to be a part of.
Jared, to your point, I actually felt like the crowd that we kind of ended up being around quite a bit and talking to, there was almost a little bit of like the term they call peacocking, right? It was kind of like, hey, you made it through. Here's a unique opportunity because the industry is poised for really big things. And it was kind of like, hey, glad to see you guys are a part of this, and like, get ready for a crazy rocket ship ride. And I know that was the other thing that I walked away with was like, man, I couldn't have picked a better time to, join you guys and get into the industry, because it was like, there's big things ahead. So that was another takeaway I had.
Yeah, for sure. And, for us, look, we've had a challenging year, just like the rest of the people in the world. But boy, it's been great on our ride, and it makes you feel good about those things. And I think you're right. There is a little bit of that. Kevin is part of another organization that focuses on commercial, and the person that's in charge of that has really the last few years been like, hold on, don't go yet. Hold on to your money. Like, let's wait. The time's almost here. Deals are going to get good. And all of a sudden, even he's like, now's the time. Like, let's start thinking about it. Next year is going to be when these things happen. And so, for people that are on the sideline, I think all three of us talked about this, and we heard it a lot at the conference. There's people that are pulling back from the market, and you got to be careful, but boy, there's deals out there to get. And now's the time. Like, get out there, start finding deals, line up your financing. You're going to find good stuff in 2024 that might be a home run. Could be a couple base hits, but home run might be out there for you too.
Yeah. And you said something interesting there. You said we struggled like everybody else. And I felt that to some extent, but it's not on bad loans. It's not on defaults. No. It's none of that. So I just want to be very clear here. It's our struggle is we can't keep up with the amount of business.
Right.
So Brandon, this is your world. Like we have more loans than we could fund. We need capital. So we're aggressively raising capital from private investors, and we're establishing relationships with some institutional investors. So talk to me about if there's any takeaways from the conference when it comes to capital raise and capital costs.
Yeah, so the last night we were there, I ended up sitting next to a couple of guys, and I think they were taken aback by the rate at which we are raising money, but doing it in smaller increments, right? A lot of the other people in the industry are leveraging institutional sources or only accredited investors. And so when I told them, hey, our minimum investment, is between 10 and 25,000, they said, like, they were almost like paused, right? And they're like, well, how are you guys keeping up? And it's like, well, I'm not keeping up, but I was like, but we're still raising $1.5 million a month. And it's like, when I threw that number out there, one of the guys at our dinner that we ended up attending, he was like, somebody should like have this guy give a speech on like how you're doing it, because I mean, there's no way that you're doing this at that kind of clip. And so just the takeaway was that I think that, one, the machine that we built in terms of making sure we have a good outreach to a lot of people, giving people a unique opportunity to invest in real estate when they typically wouldn't. I think that's what those guys were kind of surprised. Like, hey, our minimum investment is $100,000 and we have a 2-year lockup period. And here I'm responding with, we have no lockup period. We ask for like 90 days notice if you want your money back. And you can go down to, like, average investment size is 150 grand. That's the average. That tells you got above and below. He was kind of astonished. So I think that's something that, we'll continue to look at. We obviously more conversations around, some institutional players and what that looks like for the business. But all in all, it told me that we're doing a phenomenal job based on what we're trying to do. And it's pretty cool to say that we're giving people an opportunity to invest in a vehicle that they would never get access to otherwise. So that's pretty unique.
Yeah. $1.5 million that's a good clip. You're right. I love how you say that. It's a good clip. Why would people invest with us?
I think that knowing what the portfolio that we're looking at, when you talked about how we underwrite loans, you and I kind of joke a lot, Jared doesn't really agree with us, but like the business is basic in its core, right? It's like we raise money, we pay you 8%, we turn around, take that same money, and then loan it back out to somebody else at a higher interest rate. We're talking about a great investment, right? Like, it's not rocket science. I always tell people, like, this isn't really complicated, but you have to do it well. You have to understand what you're doing, and that is a big component of it. And so that's why people invest with us. It's a very safe and sound investment. It's very rarely are you going to find an opportunity to earn 8% on your money, and I'm not locking you up. Even a CD is going to lock you up, right? Like, people are like, oh, I'll get 5% on a CD. Great. Well, money's still locked up. It's not locked up with us. So I think that's a big reason why as well.
Yeah, I'm sure you have something to add, Jared, but I think it's really just 4 words. Why do people invest with us? We do what we say.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of people don't do that. So when we say you're going to get 8%, you're going to get 8%. What do you want to add, Jared?
One quick plug, Kevin. I always tell people, listen, no fund investor has ever taken a loss. That's a super powerful statement, right? Like that's just facts. So Jared,
no investor has ever made less than 8%. Not only have they never taken a loss, they've never gotten a return under 8.
Yep.
And that's only 15 years of Pine history. And a lot of people argue, well, you've had a 15-year great ride, but the market's been great the whole 15 years. Well, what they don't know is I was doing this business in 2006. I didn't start Pine until 8, but I was in this industry raising capital and lending it out in 6. So I know what it's like to go through the crash.
Yeah, no, you guys are right. And, when I think about it, it really has a lot to do with what you just said. We have been through cycles. All of us on the management team here, all of us, the company, we're not brand new to this. We've got a track record. We know how to do this. We really take it seriously. Capital preservation is the thing we think about all the time. I underwrite a deal. I think about it as my money. Would I invest in this deal? That's the way I look at it, because I don't want to lose money. I'm here to make it, not to lose it. And so we take it very personal when we put our money in. And we offer diversity in investment strategy that a lot of other investment vehicles can't give you. We are allowing people to get into real estate, have their risk spread against a portfolio of doors, not just 1 or 2. It's really hands-off investing. We do all the work. You put your money in. And we've got some social media ads where it's someone in a hammock and they're drinking an orange juice, and that's it, man. I mean, we will take your money, treat it like ours, protect it like it's ours. You just have to collect the 8% and decide what you want to do with it. And we're transparent. We'll tell you what we think and what we're seeing. And we're always here when the phone rings.
Yeah, I don't think that's orange juice.
Well, whatever. I mean, look, it could be a tequila sunrise for all I know.
Okay, so I know we went a little bit long here, but I want to say, I just want to close with this. One of the biggest takeaways I got, gentlemen, was the amount of capital coming into the industry and just the amount of attention this industry is getting. So we're working hard, Brandon, you're leading this, but we're working hard to get our cost of capital down so that we could adjust our pricing appropriately. Everybody else is raising prices. We really do want to bring our pricing down. So the benefit to you as a borrower from Pine Financial is you're going to get the best possible pricing with the loan products that we offer. So we are working very hard to even get them lower than we are right now. So that's one of the big takeaways I got from the event as well. Any final takeaways that you guys want to share?
I got one last one, and this is just a testament to working with you two. Pretty cool to go to a conference where everybody knows Kevin and Jared. So it's like, oh yeah, like, all right, cool.
It ain't me. I don't talk to you. I'm the shy guy in the corner. It's Jared out there, little butterfly.
Well, we all work the room differently, and we make a good team doing it. But I just would add at the end that this is darn fun. We are super serious about what we do, as I said, but we have a blast doing it. Someone told me early on that if you find something that you can love, that you never work a day in your life, and boy, this doesn't really feel like we're working because we love it so much. And we would love everybody to be a part of what we're about and what we're doing. So give Brandon a call. Let him know you want to get involved in our fund. Call me if you want to talk about underwriting or if you've got a deal or whatever it is. If you really want to get some in-depth information about how to maneuver through these things, then Kev's your guy. But we're here for you. So give us a shout.
Yeah, great ending there. So you can find us at pinefinancialgroup.com.